Hey, what's going on, guys? Sumner Healey from landinvestor.co. I'm coming to you guys from the Grindhouse. If you guys haven't seen in my previous videos, this is a little apartment out here in Pacific Beach that I like to come and work from. It's like my friend's, she's in Bali, so I've just been spending the last month here just grinding it out. And one of the things that I've been thinking about the last few days as I've been working here is this concept that I've originated. I've never heard anyone else talk about this, but this is like the land investor's hero journey. And if you're just starting out or you're kind of in the thick of the land investing process, listen up. I think it's going to be kind of an interesting idea in terms of what to expect. Now, there's different ways to eat a Reese's peanut butter cup, right? You don't have to do it exactly following this model, but this is a model that I've seen played out many times. This is the model that I've used in my own business. So let's crack into it. So day one, you're just getting involved in land investing. This is what the arc kind of looks like. And so it's a start here, it's a rip up, it's a dip, then it's a rip higher. And what does that actually look like in the day-to-day when you're in the trenches? Well, when most folks are getting started in land investing, they start by doing small deals. It's just the nature of things, it's low risk. It's a good way to get your foot in the door. And it's gonna be interesting because you're gonna be blown away by the returns that you're getting. But the overall money that you're gonna generate on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis typically isn't gonna be anything too crazy. Most folks are gonna cap out around $250,000, maybe $300,000 in profit doing a small deal type business. And a lot of that income is actually gonna come in the form of owner financing sales. So you're gonna have those recurring payments coming in every month. So you're not gonna have a lot of lump sum wins in your business where you get big cash injections. But this is okay. This is where you're gonna start. You're typically gonna be a solo operator here. What's nice about this too is you can get away with really low operating expenses. So like the marketing spend that you need to have to do a significant amount of small deals is way less than what you need to do for larger deals. It just requires less mail to actually have a yield. So you can get away with sending maybe 4,000, 5,000 letters a month and do a handful of deals every single month. Whereas you scale up and start doing bigger deals, you need substantially more mail. The yield's much lower. So this is where you're gonna start at. You're typically gonna be here for 6 months to 12 months. I've seen folks graduate out of this in 6 months and then start doing bigger deals. It's a big wake up call for them because what they realize is, oh my God, I'm a solo operator. I only have so much time to be working in my business. And what I see is a small deal takes the same amount of time as a big deal. In fact, typically a big deal takes less time than a smaller deal because you can use outside resources, you can use third parties, and typically the sellers and the buyers are gonna be much more savvy. So when you're buying the property from the seller, they're gonna be a little more savvy. When you're selling the property, the buyers on the back end are gonna be a little more savvy. So all in all, it's actually a much smoother process. There's a lot less hand holding that needs to be done. And so I've seen folks graduate up to that in about 6 months. I think what's more typical is about 12 months. It took me about 16 months. I'm a slow learner apparently. So they go solo operator, small deal, then they kind of rip up, they go solo operator, big deal. They say, well, I've only got a finite amount of time. I'm working 60 hours a week in my business or what have you. So I'm gonna go after deals that net me more. Operating expenses are gonna go up. They're gonna have to send more mail, but all things being equal, it's a much more profitable business model. I think as a solo operator, you could probably do about $500,000 here. You're gonna definitely run into a wall in terms of the acquisitions. It's just gonna be a lot to manage on your own. But typically the actual dispositions or the selling of these bigger properties, they're much easier to sell. If you're buying right and you're listing right and you're in the correct markets, these deals pretty much sell themselves. Put them on a flat fee MLS, they'll go. There's very little hand holding that needs to be done with agents or with buyers of these types of properties. But most of your time is gonna be divvied up between market selection, mailing, and then actually working the acquisitions. What I typically recommend is once you've made it to this point, you've done a handful of larger deals, now you're ready to bring on, there's two different roles we would look at. One's gonna be an integrator VA. Not someone that's just gonna come in and kind of work the day-to-day in your business. And you could even bring that as you're still working the smaller deals, but most folks don't. I did in my case, and it actually really helped me scale up. I think a lot of people, the biggest bottleneck that they're running into is the hiring. And so there's just a lot of resistance there. So at this new point in your business, integrator VA, and really the hire that's going to make you the most money is an acquisitions manager. At this point, a good acquisitions manager can bring an additional $500K to like $1 million to your business, and that's in pipeline gross profit. So like, for example, I just brought on a new acquisitions manager within my business, and their very first quarter working the job, they brought in $332,000 in gross margin in our pipeline. So what that means is what we're purchasing the property for, title expenses, what we're gonna sell it for. That's kind of our pipeline profit. It's usually gonna be a forecast or a prediction. We don't always know exactly what we're gonna sell it for. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. But but we're constantly forecasting what our pipeline is. So this acquisitions manager, theoretically, if they don't continue to grow in the role, will bring in over $1.2 million in new pipeline gross profit to our business. That's insane. We hire all exclusively overseas as right now, so this role costs us about $35,000 to $40,000 per year. Pretty nuts. So once you reach this point, that's when you realize, oh my God, I need to hire. I'm spending way too much time on the phones working these acquisitions. And then you go through this miraculous journey of hiring where your eyes are opened up to the potential of what it means to lead and hire other people and have other people bought into your vision and working to grow your business and your dream and what that means. It's an eye-opening experience. If you think the return on investment for flipping land is good, wait till you see the return on investment for hiring the right people and leading and inspiring and incentivizing well. It'll blow your mind. So this is like this big wake up call that people have, like, oh my God, Sumner, this changed my life. You start getting a lot more time back. This is what's really interesting. Now, what I see a lot of folks doing is as they're starting to build out a team, for example, let's take my business. We've got 8 employees on our team and we went small deals, big deals, and then you start building out this machine. You start systematizing every single vertical and component within your business, and you build what's essentially a conveyor belt. And every step of that process works without your involvement. And then you realize, holy crap, I have the bandwidth to do any kind of land deal, right? And then you start building a brand in the space where folks are just reaching out organically to you. You get thousands of visits a month to your website, and people are just like, hey, we want cheap land, we want expensive land, we want land here, we want land there, you just become this grocery store in essence that sells land where people are walking through your shelves at all hours of the day saying, I want this kind of land, I want that kind of land. And you realize there's a huge opportunity to stock your shelves with everything. And I see a lot of folks in the land investing game that think that they've made it to the highest rung by just doing big deals. I believe that once you've built out a system, once you've built out a team, and you're fully scaled out of your business, there's an opportunity now to turn this conveyor belt on and have all different kinds of land coming across that conveyor belt, because there's an opportunity for small deals, there's an opportunity for big deals. There's still profit to be had there. And as you build a brand in this space, you're gonna have a lot of organic interest. Like for example, our website years ago used to get no traffic. Now it gets 5,000 visits a month, maybe 7,000 visits a month on a good month. And so we get a lot of natural interest where people are just shopping our website for land. A lot of these folks are looking for entry-level beginner type properties. And so it's in our best interest to capitalize on this free traffic that we've generated just from time in the market and building a brand. And also, like if you look at just the leads that we generate from all of the paid traffic that we do, maybe we're not able to close that person on the property that they reached out on, but if we can widen our portfolio and have more options for them, we can take more value out of our marketing spend, right? So if we spend $4,000 a month on marketing and we're just trying to get them to buy a select number of properties, we don't have a larger portfolio for them to reference of land, I think we're missing out on a huge opportunity to be essentially vertically integrated, right? I want to be your one-stop shop for land, and this is something that you can do once you've built out this fully scaled up team. The other thing that you have to think about is there's only so many big deals out there. This is just a fact of the matter. There's way more small deals than there are big deals. And in fact, that's why it's easier to go and actually get these small deals because the supply is much larger. And so if we go into a market, for example, and I'm going after 5-acre to 40-acre properties, and I want properties that are gonna net me 25 grand in spread, that's great if I have a finite amount of resources on my team that I can dedicate to it, but I'm gonna be missing out on deals that could net me $18,000, $15,000, $10,000, even $5,000 per deal. I'm still willing to do that deal, and I'm willing to grow and expand my team to do those deals, because if you look at the margin on it, it's still astronomical. And on top of that, we can get a higher yield from our mailers by not just limiting the deals that we're going after. I see a lot of folks in that kind of like land investing education space preaching keeping a set profit amount per deal. We'll only do a deal that nets us 15 grand. We'll only do a deal that nets us 20 grand. I think once you build a team, that's actually silly. I think there's a way to extract more value out of your business from the same spend by just going and taking on more deals. Now, this requires you to have a built out business. This requires you to have team members and to really build out what I call a land machine. It's a machine that you can put a deal in, and you've got the systems that will run it full cycle and get it sold for you. That's what we're talking about building here. And so it goes small deal, it goes big deal, then it goes, oh my God, I can do all deals. And that's a really interesting place to get within your business. So that's what I have for you guys. It's something I've been thinking a lot about recently. And I feel like this is kind of an evolution that we've been going through in our business, right? We had this big aha moment by doing bigger deals. It was eye-opening. It was almost borderline enlightening that the same strategies that were working for small deals also work for big deals. That was a big limiting belief that we had to get over. And then we realized, whoa, we've built out this machine. Let's shove as much land through it as possible. And that's been really interesting. At a certain point, yes, we will need to hire beyond what we have currently. But if I look at the actual cost or revenue per employee, I think revenue per employee is a better way to look at this. It's still wildly profitable. Now, some people are looking to build a lifestyle business, and that's fine. I'm looking to build a land empire. I'm looking to build something much larger than myself. And so this is where my head's at. If you're thinking the same way, have no fear. This business can be scaled very, very far. In fact, I think a lot of people are just barely scratching the surface of what's possible out there. So hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm calling in on a Saturday here, but I go on a bike ride, so I'll catch you guys later. Take care.